watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Hello, I'm your Superintendent, Jason Manuel. Thank you for joining us for the January 2019 installment of the Germantown Municipal School District Spotlight on Excellence. Today our show will take you behind the scenes of the new Forest Hill Elementary School with newly named Principal Zach Percoski. Later we will delve into the Latin Foreign Language program at Houston High School with Dr. Abigail Simone and Saksham Saksena. But first we welcome students representing two teams that are competing on a national level. Thank y'all for being here. But first, tell us your names and tell us what computer class or classes you're taking here at Houston. So you can go first.
I'm Lauren Gunter, a senior at Houston High School. Currently, I'm enrolled in the coding practicum course at Houston High School.
And Milo?
I'm Milo Sulipeck, and right now I'm enrolled in the AP Computer Science A class and the Cybersecurity class.
Now, besides doing the normal coursework that you do for the computer classes, there's also opportunities for y'all to compete outside. And I think y'all are both taking advantage of those opportunities. So Lauren, you go first. Tell us, what are you doing? And it's not just you, it's a team.
Yes,
tell us about your team, what y'all are working on, and what competition you've entered.
So I'm representing Houston's team for the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow Challenge. I'm the project manager with leading over everybody else.
Right.
The challenge is basically getting high school students to try and implement ideas to solve problems in their area. And so my team consists, with this, I went in with Jake Manuel, Nick Anwalt, who's our lead developer, and Zach Morris, who is our head in research.
So what are you doing in the Samsung competition? Is it a program? Is it an app? What's the problem that you're trying to solve? Tell us what's the structure? So
we just won state finalists, and to do that we basically just had to draft a formal plan and solution to the problem that we're trying to solve, and the problem we're trying to solve is mental health in high schools. We chose this problem because it's a fairly relatable problem. Like almost every high school in the U.S. experiences this, and we all can connect with that because we are all stressed on a daily level, not just from our extremely high amounts of coursework, but also just from trying to get into colleges and trying to find what careers we want to pursue.
So what was the idea? So how's your program? What was the pitch that y'all had? So
our brainstorming idea is basically kind of like a time manager, but also a way for people to decide on their majors, because as we're modernizing and as it gets more competitive, colleges really want you to go ahead and decide on your major when you're applying. So we're trying to put more stress on that so that students can tailor their high school curriculum and schedule based around what they want to do in the future, instead of just taking the highest GPA courses, trying to get as high as you can be and trying to get in any college with whatever major that you think that you would choose. And that's a problem because when you go into colleges not knowing the majors that you want, you start switching majors, which is a ton of cost, ton of stress.
Right, the classes that you're paying for.
Yeah, and so we decided that we would try to do an app that would do personality tests, do behaviors, analyze what you've done in school, how you've done it, and try and find a major that suits you, and also define coursework that you should probably do, and also find potential colleges that you'd excel at, colleges that you should strive for.
It's almost like a fit. It's not just what they're offering, it's a fit for you, how you did in high school. So
we're trying to do that, and then we try to find the college that you do, that we think you'd do well at, and we'd also structure your schedule around that. So saying instead of stressing yourself, we were taking 7 APs to go to a lesser college, which was also one that you wouldn't have to pay as much for, because it would take that into account as well. It'd say, to get just into so-and-so college, you need to only take like 5 honors courses a year, get a 30 on your ACT.
And something more enjoyable too. You could take a more interesting class.
So yeah, it'll like put an objective way, a practical way of thinking about going into college instead of jumping into senior year and having no idea what's going on, then regretting everything you've done in high school. And also it allows for less stress because it's going to be able to help you manage your time. Saying like, oh, like you should probably do a sport, you should probably be involved in certain extracurricular activities dealing with whatever major you want to deal with.
Well, that's exciting, and so it really seems applicable to what y'all are experiencing and what y'all are feeling going through your high school experience. Now, Milo, y'all are also working on a competition. And tell us a little bit about your team and what y'all are working on.
So our team, we joined the Congressional App Challenge, which was a challenge to make a final as sophisticated as possible piece of software. We chose to make a game because we thought that would be fun and we could be kind of creative with it.
Right.
And we ended up making a game called The Great Escape. It was really inspired by Mario because, you know, that's a great game. And it's about where you, we coded it in JavaScript. We,
now, who was on your team?
Manis Mallah and Ricky Liu and me, myself.
Okay, so y'all coded it, but there's also something y'all did around music too that was creative?
Yes, sir. Ricky Liu made a very good piece to go in the baggrounder, and I thought it was really good.
Original piece of music?
Yes, sir.
So what does he play? Did he do it on computer? Did he do it?
He made it using the computer. I think he used MuseScore. I wasn't involved in the music making process as much.
So tell us a little bit about The Great Escape. So what do you do in the game and how does it work?
So it's about, you're just a little player trying to navigate through these levels, and we spend a lot of the time working on the physics and how the levels would be loaded in and stuff, and we really got to get to know each other better as a team. And
you actually won this challenge?
Yes, sir. We won for this district, yes, sir.
And so going forward, how do you think you're going to use this in looking at future careers or what you want to do once you leave high school?
I think it was really useful in getting to get a taste of cooperating with a group to have a final objective in mind. And I think it's going to really help in understanding what I'm signing up for if I were to do a computer course.
Well, thank you both for choosing to do something outside of your chemistry classes and also thinking about a real-world application, because it sounds like both of you did something that really interested you and your teams. And when we talk about excellence always in Germantown, y'all are examples of that because you want to go take what you've learned here and give back to the community. So thank y'all very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are continually proud of the work of our student teams in the area of computer science, and their teacher, Miss Leslie Brommer, post-confractus, which means after the break in Latin, we'll discuss the Latin program with Saksham Saksena and Dr. Abigail Simone.
So we were walking to school.
I started thinking about lunch. Mom packed me turkey and cheese.
She's smart.
I really want cheese pizza.
Sometimes her mind wanders.
We should have a sleepover.
I remember saying, Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
I really hope she doesn't have another bad day.
I really hope I don't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
How long have we been married now?
For 76 years.
He was kind and generous to me before we married, and he was kind and generous to me all these years. We decided on Meals on Wheels because I was getting to the point where I couldn't do all the things that I had been able to do. We're the Spans. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
You are watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Welcome back. I am Superintendent Jason Manuel. Leading the largest Latin program in the state at 250 students strong, Dr. Abigail Simone is a true expert in her field. We also welcome her student, Saksham Saksena, a sophomore, who has already garnered over 39 state and national awards at the Latin conventions. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
Well, Dr. Simone, tell us a little bit about foreign language. So did you originally get into teaching Latin, or was it other foreign languages? What drew you to Latin?
Sure. I went to college thinking I was going to go to law school, and I met a professor at the University of Tennessee and just fell in love. I took Latin in high school and then fell in love with it at UT, and was honored to ask to become a Latin teacher before I even had my undergraduate degree. And so after that, I taught for a year at Farragut and then came back home to Germantown, and I've been here pretty much ever since.
So tell us a little bit about the Latin program. I think what's interesting is when you talk about a language, how it's really influenced other languages. To really understand how to teach it, you have to understand the standards and where you want your students walking in the door, not exposed to Latin in elementary school, and then how are they going to master it by the time they leave and take an AP Latin course, hopefully. How do you really get in and understand the standards and really understand the journey from start to finish?
Sure. What I think is really cool about Latin is, you're right, nobody has any experience with Latin. It's not like they had it in middle school or elementary school, but it kind of gives anybody a great historical perspective. So Latin influenced a lot of the other Romance languages, and so it gives us an opportunity to talk about history and etymology, how words came about. It gives us a great kind of foray into a lot of other academic subjects through the lens of Latin that we're learning in class every day. And so that's really kind of cool, because it's more than about, I think it's a common misconception that everybody thinks, oh, the Latin kids are going to be doctors or lawyers, but really it's that systematic thinking that we're building that'll serve you well in whatever class you decide to do outside of our classroom, whether you go on to take another foreign language or you're a math major or a computer scientist, anything that you decide to do, that systematic, analytical thinking will serve you well outside of our classroom.
But you also are the expert on standards.
I was honored to be on a panel of about 12 foreign language teachers who got to revise the world language standards for the state of Tennessee this past year. It was a really neat experience because there have been a lot of academic shifts in the state of Tennessee. And so to be able to have an opportunity to really write, what we want Latin students to be able to do, once they leave Latin 1, 2, 3, AP, to kind of develop that pipeline was a really neat experience. So
Saksham, tell us a little bit about your interests. What drew you to Latin when you think about all the languages that you can take? Why did you decide to take Latin?
Well, I originally took Latin for its applications in medicine. I aspire to be a medical doctor, but as soon as I took Latin, Ms. Purcell and Dr. Simone's, their teaching just made me fall in love with Latin. And as you know, I've been eagerly participating in competitions, trying to use and just apply my Latin knowledge and learn more Latin as much as I can. So you mentioned things outside the classroom competitions. Dr. Simone, tell us a little bit about, it doesn't just stay in the classroom.
It doesn't, and I think that's something that's really cool, and Saksham has done a great job representing us. So our Latin community has something called the Junior Classical League, and we have a local competition in the fall with all of our area schools, and then we have some state and national competitions in the spring. And so I didn't even get to teach Saksham last year. Ms. Purcell, our other awesome Latin teacher, got to teach him in Latin 1. And so I had met Saksham at our fall Festivus last year. And what was so cool about it is we're at Germantown High School, and I see Saksham come in with all of these different projects. I think he entered almost every category. And so when the awards came, it's like Saksham Saksena, Saksham Saksena. and that continually happened all throughout the year. And so what's neat about Saksham is he is able to take his Latin knowledge and his STEM knowledge and all of the other kind of, his artistic capabilities and blend it with Latin to be able to produce some amazing projects. And so what's neat about it, and I'll let you talk a little bit about it, is when he went to national competitions, so he took academic tests like everybody else did, but he also entered a lot of different artistic categories, and so he came home with the most awards of any student in the state of Tennessee. He placed in the top 10 of 10 events nationally last summer.
Congratulations.
Which is pretty amazing.
So tell us a little bit about how you combined your love for STEM and Latin. What were the projects that you entered in that you enjoyed?
Well, I have many interests, as you can tell. One of my main interests is medicine and STEM and Latin. So in the STEM field, I'm very interested in 3D printing and 3D designing and stuff. So when it was time to first make my first art project for Latin, I was thinking, why not make a 3D statue? So I 3D designed a statue of Pluto sitting on his throne, and then applied clay on to his face to make the final touches. And then later on, I made a 3D sculpture of the Colosseum.
Oh, wow.
And for the state convention, I made a video using green screen technology, making the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. And then this year, I realized that we needed to have a website to disseminate more knowledge to our Latin students and to just be more informative. So I designed a website for our Latin club using Weebly during my fall break.
Oh, wow. So when you're using the 3D, do you have a 3D printer at home?
No, but I'm able to use the 3D printer at school, and my aunt has access to a 3D printer.
So you're able to use it at the school too. How big a statue are we talking about? So are we talking about something that's basketball size? Is it?
Yeah, about
big?
basketball size. It wasn't too big, but just average.
It was still. So going forward, when you think about your use of Latin and STEM, are you currently taking STEM at Houston High School?
No, but I took it in middle school, and I'm doing different STEM competitions. Like this year, I'm in Vex Robotics, in which you're making a robot and programming it to do the challenge.
So, Dr. Simone, going forward, looking at competitions and the opportunities for students, how many levels of Latin? Because we haven't talked about the basic Latin program here.
We do. We are so fortunate to have 2 Latin teachers, as I mentioned. Ms. Purcell is our incredible, this year she's teaching Latin 1. She has a bright and bubbly personality and gets, everybody loves Latin, taking it from Ms. Purcell. And then this year I'm picking it up in Latin 2, so I teach Latin 2, Latin 3, and AP Latin. And so at the end of their career, they can get some big high school credit from taking 4 years of Latin with us here at Houston. And so, but anybody, Latin 1 through Latin AP, can participate in our JCL programs. So, you know, as I said, it's academic competition, it's art, it's costumes, it's athletic competitions. We have a chariot race. So there's all kinds of fun that can be had. Using your Latin knowledge, and it's neat to watch what kids bring in from other classes, whether, you know, we have a mythology class here in Houston, we have an etymology class, we have our health science students learning those word origins, so it all kind of builds together into a total package that our kids can take to these competitions.
Well, thank y'all for representing Houston High School and Germantown Schools and our Latin program. We are proud to watch our foreign language programs flourish and grow. Before the break, we are proud to feature the Houston Middle School Band in this month's Student Live edition. Ready?
watching Germantown Municipal Television, your source for everything Germantown.
Before the break, we heard the Houston Middle School Band under the direction of Spencer Nesvik. Next up, we welcome Zach Percoski to the studio to talk about the new Forest Hill Elementary School. Thank you for being here, Mr. Percoski.
Thank you for having me.
So first, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into education, and then how did you become a principal of Farmington Elementary School?
Yep, I come from a long line of educators. Aunts, uncles, both my parents, my sister. I don't guess we know anything different. I guess it's in the blood. But I started out my career teaching English and biology at Bolton High School, coaching soccer, which I knew little about.
I think we shared that in common.
Yep,
yeah.
I learned. And then from then I went back and got my master's degree and started just applying for jobs, seeing what the interview process was like. And I ended up at Southwind Elementary, which is in the South End.
Were you an assistant principal there first?
I was an assistant principal there for a while, and then became principal there. And then my daughter was already attending Farmington. And then when that position opened with all of our mergers and demergers and the shuffling that went on with that, I applied for it and got the position at Farmington Elementary, and I've completely enjoyed my 6 years there. I was talking to a parent this morning. This is the only class. This 5th grade class is the only class that I've been with since they were in kindergarten.
Oh.
So it's a good time to make a transition. I feel like I've seen one class all the way through and seen their growth and their development, and I'm excited for what lies ahead for them, but I also think it's exciting for me to be able to make a transition as well.
So let's talk a little bit about that transition. We were very thankful that you chose to go to the new school because of how good a principal you are, because of the fact that you know how to use data, you know how to work with students, you know how to balance all those pieces, finances, and you're not having to figure out how to open a new school while figuring out how to be a principal at the same time. So we're thankful you made that decision. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about what excites you about the new elementary school. So Forest Hill Elementary School, you chose to come over and be our first principal of that school.
I think everything about it is exciting. Everything from just the fact I've never been in a new building. Bolton High School is probably one of the older high schools in
Shelby
the
County,
entire county. So that's where I started my career, and Southwind was not a new building when I went there. Farmington, obviously, we're on year 43, I believe. So I just see the building itself as a great opportunity. I think it's going to be a very spectacular place to walk into and to be a part of. But also, I'm excited to meet a new community, form a community around the school, and to get to know some new people in Germantown that I may not have had the opportunity to meet had I not gotten this opportunity.
Are there any features of the new school and campus that you're excited about, you think the students or parents are going to enjoy?
I think there are a ton of features that are going to be enjoyed by not only the parents and students there, but by the community as a whole. I think the campus itself is something extraordinary in Germantown, especially in that it is much larger than our other campuses, and especially with the free space that is there. So I think the park-like setting is going to be something that sets it apart from any of our current schools and really kind of draws people to the school. So I hope that it can serve as a hub for those community events and in that part of our city that we can build upon and continue to make Germantown Municipal Schools as great as possible.
One of the things I frequently hear about Farmington is a term that's magic or family. So when you think about what you've done at Farmington with your teachers and your staff, really those relationships with the teachers and the teachers' relationships with children, that's where you see real success. What are some of those things that you look forward to doing at the new school to really build teacher morale, community morale? What are you excited about doing at the new elementary school, not just the facility?
I'm excited about the fact that we get to write our own story. We get to, be the history of Farmington Elementary School.
Or Forest Hill, yes.
I mean, Forest Hill Elementary School. I got to change that. But I'm just excited that we get to be the originators of this is what this school is about, and this is how we're going to approach not only learning, but also approach our interactions with each other. Because I think you said it best, those relationships are the key to everything. If we can build those, then we can do great things. But that's where it all starts, and just having students know that there are people there that care about them, and not just care about the scores that they get on tests, but also care about their lives and what's going on, and go out of their way to make sure that the students understand that they're there for them, not just academically, but also as a partner as they grow and learn how to be good citizens, how to be community members. And these are the students that one day will lead our city and our school system. So I think we have a great opportunity to form great leaders.
And you talk about writing that story, and this is silly, but we know the community wants to know what's the mascot and what are we gonna choose? What are some of those names that have been thrown out as mascots? Not saying that these are going to be the ones, and there aren't going to be others added. What are some of the names that you've heard for Forest Hill?
Not a comprehensive list, but I have heard that all of our mascots right now are. A lot of them are animals, so I think some animals have made the list. I have heard flamingos tossed around. I'm not sure how that works as far as being a fierce competitor.
Are they supposed to be tough? Or
that's kind of, I think that's the drawback, and the pink may turn people off. But also the foxes, if we're looking at animals. But then I think some a little more abstract, maybe kind of superhero-ish, kind of fire, flame, things like that. I think the alliteration is something that people look for in a mascot, especially for an elementary school. So most of them have kept with some form of alliteration. But Flash, I think, showed up as well. Yep.
Well, we are going to work together and with our communications department to really roll out a process to help them choose and select and come up with something that the community really is excited about for the new school, and help you start writing that story. And of course, we are going to be together a lot in the spring, because we're going to be doing lots of kickoff events with staff, with parents, with students once we get ready to open that campus. But I thank you for accepting this challenge and creating something new and special in our district.
Well, I 100% appreciate the opportunity, and I know that it's going to be a great place, and I'm very excited to get in and work with those families and get to know them so that we can best meet their needs as a school and as a hopefully a cornerstone of the community.
Thank you, Ms. Percoski. Well, that's all we have time for on this month's Spotlight on Excellence. If you'd like more information about this or any other show on Germantown Municipal Television, visit us on our website at www.gmtvonline.org. Until next time, this has been Superintendent Jason Manuel for this month's installment of the Germantown Municipal School District's Spotlight on Excellence. So then we just